All right. Well, this month is going to turn into quite the car scramble of getting things ready. So, we already talked about getting this car ready for Road America October 18th. Well, I've jumped myself farther into the rabbit hole now. I just signed up for my first drift event. So, we got to get the drift car a little bit more ready. The drift event is September 19th, so we have until next Friday to get this done. It is currently Tuesday the week before, so my buddy Tucker is bringing over a master cylinder, and we are going to be hooking up the rear brakes onto a handbrake and blocking off the rears from the master and only running front brakes, so like a suicide brake setup. Not ideal at all, but I don't have dual caliper knuckles, I don't have the option that I want to go, and I don't want to cut and weld up my 2-pot, 4-pot knuckles that are in really nice condition. So we're going to do a bit of a iffy, odd setup, but it's going to work for one, maybe 2 events now this year. Because if we're doing this one, I'm sure there might be another one we can get into somewhere. I don't know. But, so there's that next weekend. This Saturday is radar runs in Land O' Lakes. I brought the drift car there the year that I rear-wheel drive converted, or maybe it's, either way, it was the year before I built it. I took it there as a bone stock car and ran it. So it's going back there this year now as a built car. So that's going to be a lot of fun. So as long as it survives that, it's going to go to its first drift event. But like I said, we need to start mocking up a handbrake in there. So I'm just waiting for my buddy Tucker to show up. So I think I'm going to move the car over in the driveway, give us more room, take the passenger seat out of it just for better access. And yeah, we're going to start making a bracket for a master cylinder for a rear handbrake. So heck yeah, let's get to it. Well, it truly wouldn't be one of my working in the driveway videos if it wasn't raining. But all ready to go. Start pulling this seat out of here. Give ourselves full access to the center console here and start going from there. Start figuring out some stuff. I also threw the shift boot in here the other day. Although I need to figure out a way to secure it in the back over here, because every time you shift it forward it keeps wanting to pull out. But kind of funny to still retain that. So yeah, just gonna get to work on her.
The next day.
Time to get the drift car thrown back together. It's going for its first weekend of events, so we've got all the interior torn apart from playing around with figuring out where to mount that master cylinder. So we've got a radar run event coming up this weekend, so I didn't plan on having that hooked up anyway because of the way we're hooking it up. So going to get this put back together because, well, the way we were going to hook it up is only to control the rear brakes and plug them from the pedal, so the pedal only actuates the front. So we're not doing that for radar runs, because if we're doing speed runs, hey, it's nice to have all 4 brakes. So we're going to be getting that all set up after the event this weekend. We'll tear this all back apart, but we got to have it looking complete if we're taking it to an event. So let's get some interior thrown back in this thing and get this thing on the trailer here. So here we go. Alrighty, short little while later. got everything back together, all ready to go for tomorrow, so time to start playing around, get the truck hooked back up to the trailer, get this thing loaded up, and get ourselves all ready to go.
Stand right in front of the camera.
You can pull it down if you want.
How close do you want to get?
Right there.
Okay.
Ugh. No, I'm learning Joey's trailer, so if I line my front wheel up with that notch, then it's like the perfect distance to have room for my straps to ratchet them. Well, car's all loaded up, ready to go for the morning. Gotta clean off the bed a little bit and get a few odds and ends thrown on there to be prepared if anything decides to break on the car, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there, so heck yeah. So, next time you see it, we'll be rolling out in the morning. Well, got the drift car all unloaded this morning after radar runs, and it is time to get back into looking into how we're going to hook up this handbrake. I gotta get the seat and all that taken out of it, and I still don't really have a full game plan on how I'm doing it, so I got a lot of things to figure out. Just gonna putz with it today, and I'll make updates on it as I decide what I'm doing, so just gonna, just gotta get to it.
3,000 years later.
Alright, well, been staring at this thing for a while and have completely redesigned what I came up with again, or completely thought of, and I think I'm gonna try and commit to this. I got a sleeve right here, fits the end of this heim joint, put that in there, and then with it going up, it'll move back to compress that, and I'll make a bracket to hold the master cylinder. And that should be able to stay in one place as the heim joint moves. And I'm gonna notch around and put the heim joint in the middle of here so it's welded with the strength of everything in here and ties it all together. So I don't know, it's kind of where my thoughts are at. I think we just need to start committing and moving along on this. So I'm gonna get this bolted out of here and get it up on the bench, and we will start cutting and welding here. So yeah, let's see what we can come up with. Well, I completely meant to film it, but I left my phone sitting in the car here, so I just went ahead and did it and didn't think about filming it, but got ourselves a little pivot point welded in there. So time to get this all mocked back up, start playing with how we're gonna mount this, which this should be pretty easy to make a mount for. So yeah, keep chugging along here, and maybe I'll remember to film more. We'll find out. All right, so probably not the best angle, but hopefully you can see how this is mounted onto here. This is gonna get shortened, and it's just slid onto here, which might be able to just leave after we make a mount for this. But if I hold it in place, it works perfectly. So, heck yeah, I can now start figuring out where we're gonna mount this, whether we can come up close here or if it needs to be farther away. I gotta pull out the back seat and get this carpet up to mount this bracket and start going from there, but that's looking pretty good so far. So yeah, see what else I can figure out. Alright, well, back in the garage. So now that we have an idea for how this is actuating, it's time to get an idea for how to mount it. So first step is making a plate for this to mount to. So got this guy here, gonna get some cardboard out, we'll trace what we need out of here, and then we will transplant it over to here. So yeah, let's see what we can do. Well, forgot to show it before I pop this piece back up, and I don't really feel like popping it back into place, but basically gonna weld our bracket right to the bottom of there, follow the same contour as this plate here. I'll make a couple of braces to come down and help support it, and yeah, we'll overly all hope that this is strong enough to do all this, but I don't see why it wouldn't be. I can hold it no problem by hand. So then we'll just have to make a shorter linkage for this and we'll be good to go. So time to get back in the garage and get this thing all mocked up and see how it works. Got everything all mocked up in place here, and it is working perfectly. So, good actuation on it. Gonna get the brake lines all run tomorrow. Gotta bring my flare tool home from work and pick up some fittings. So yeah, this thing should be basically dialed tomorrow after work. So yeah, might move on to some more things tonight, or might just take it easy. So